everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone 13 Pro and compare it against the iPhone 13 Pro Max and see how both of these phones compare and hold up in 2025. Now, the thing I will definitely tell you is that both of these phones are very decent devices. I love both these phones, and I think they're both going to be giving you pretty good, solid capability for the next 4 years. Now, these phones may not be the most perfect phones in 4 years, but there's still so much capability behind them, and they still look very good for how old these phones are. So, if you do want to go ahead and pick up some phones that I would recommend buying this year, links will be down in the description below. You can get them from there, and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these phones. With the iPhone 13 Pro, this one was a little bit of a smaller phone than the 13 Pro Max. This was actually the phone that I personally used, and I actually love this phone a lot. It is really that good of a phone. With this type of device, you're basically getting a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. Now, with a phone like this, you have to remember that these types of devices are going to be giving you a pretty solid type of experience, right? I do think these types of devices do give you very good, decent displays, and they look very good. They do still have the notch, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. And I do still feel like these types of phones are still going to be giving you a pretty good type of layout and a pretty good type of experience when it comes down to it from that side. So I do think from that side in and of itself, that is kind of one of the big things to keep in mind there. With these phones too, the big thing you have to remember is that with these types of devices, you're basically going to be able to get a 120 Hz display on these phones. That right there is actually something that's very crazy. Most phones, these were the first iPhones to give you that type of capability. So I do think this in and of itself is also such a crazy thing to basically have. So personally for me, I love that so much within these phones. And I would probably tell you from that side in and of itself, that is one of the biggest, coolest things going on for these types of devices when it comes down to it. So from that side too, that kind of covers it up there from that particular side. Now on top of that, another very big thing to keep in mind here too, is that with the iPhone 13 Pro Max, this phone is basically going to be giving you a larger 6.7-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. So this phone's going to be a little bit different because it's essentially going to be kind of the same type of layout as the iPhone 13 Pro, but this one's going to be slightly different. This one's basically going to be able to give you a little bit of a bigger size display. So that is kind of a nice thing going on here, because you're going to be able to go through and pick up a device that is going to be giving you a little bit of a better type of experience there. So I would probably tell you, if you are about to go through and pick up a phone, that in and of itself is kind of a nice thing going on from that particular side as well. So being able to go through and buy a phone from that particular, situation, I think is nice, and I'm definitely going to be a big fan of that type of device for giving you a bigger size display if you're really into it. Now, you're also going to be able to go through and basically get a lightning port on the bottom of both these phones, which is always nice to have. I love lightning, and you're going to be getting that in this type of device as well. Beyond that, there's not really anything else super insane going on here. They're both going to be flat-sided, which is going to be really nice to have. You're going to be getting these frosted glass backs on the backside of both these phones too. So that right there is going to be another cool thing. Getting a frosted glass back, I think is going to be really nice. And then you're also going to be getting triple camera setups in the top left corner as well. So, having a triple camera setup, I think is much needed in today's standards. And it's going to be giving you a really good capability there. And then it's also going to be able to still give you things like wireless charging, still giving you MagSafe capability. It still is a very good phone on both of these, and you're definitely going to be getting a really good worthwhile phone for the most part behind both these types of devices when it comes down to it. So from that particular situation, that kind of covers it up there too. Now, when it comes down to the cameras, this is also one of those other very big things to keep in mind here. So both these phones are giving you triple camera setups on the backside. So this right there is something very interesting kind of remember, because both these phones are, not only are they the same megapixel count on all these types of cameras, but everything's going to be relatively the same. So the quality of the camera lenses, everything like that is going to be roughly around the same thing. The main thing to keep in mind here, though, that sometimes does kind of, change some things here and there, is that if you are taking a look at both these types of devices, you will have to remember that both of them are going to be slightly different when it comes down to just their capability behind their, I guess with the iPhone 13 Pro Max, it had a little bit more capability behind it. But even at that point, it's not really the biggest deal in the world. But in most situations, if you're looking at both these types of devices, you're probably still going to be able to get like a pretty good type of experience, in my personal opinion. But again, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but you will probably just see a few things here and there between these types of devices from that situation. So from the camera standpoint, that's kind of how I see it. Again, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it could just be one of those other minor things to keep in mind there for the most part as well. Now, on top of that, another very big thing to keep in mind here too is the software updates. You have to remember that with both these phones, they're both going to be relatively the exact same software update type of device. They're going to be giving you the same type of software updates, so nothing's really going to change there. And I do think that's kind of one of those things that just kind of ends up happening. So if you are about to go through and pick up a device, these two things are basically going to be giving you the same type of experience. So nothing is really going to be changing there for the most part. And once again, I think that's just kind of one of those things that ends up happening. So if you are about to go through and pick up a phone, that's just kind of what's going to end up happening here, which is totally okay. Now, I do think from that particular situation too, if you are about to go through and try to get the phone with the better battery life, a phone like the iPhone 13 Pro Max is probably going to end up being the one that's going to be giving you the better battery life when it comes down to it from that side as well. So once again, I do think in that particular situation, if you are wanting the phone that is going to be giving you the better experience, it is probably going to be something like an iPhone, it might just be like an iPhone 13 Pro Max. Again, not the biggest deal in the world, but again, that's going to be one of those other minor things to keep in mind there for the most part as well. Now, when it comes down to their performance, as you probably would have guessed it, both phones are exactly the same type of performance. There's not really those many big changes when it comes down to the performance side of either one of these phones. They're both going to be giving you the same type of experience here. So I think that's a nice thing, being able to go through and buy a phone like this that's going to be giving you like really good type of experience and really good type of capability from that point, I think is really nice. And that is essentially what's going on here for the most part. So if you are about to go through and like pick up a phone, I do think from that side alone, you are basically going to be able to go through and get like a pretty good performing type of device from that type of capability as well. So again, it isn't the biggest deal in the world, but if you are about to go through and like pick up a phone, you're definitely going to be getting a pretty good, solid, capable phone for that particular situation from both these devices too. And, I haven't really had too many issues from the performance side of either one of these phones. So I always thought that was kind of a nice thing, that you wouldn't have to worry about the performance being too crazy or too terrible or anything like that. So you're definitely going to be getting that inside of these types of devices as well. So even from that side alone, you're still going to be getting like very good, very fast types of phones when it comes down to it from that side as well. So overall, to kind of sum up this whole entire video, what I can definitely tell you is that in my personal opinion, I don't think you can go that wrong with these types of devices. Like I really do think these types of devices are very, very good. And for the most part, Apple knocked it out of the park when they made these phones. They are so good. They just absolutely dominated it and they did such a good job. And I think these are some of the best iPhones Apple's ever made. They may not be perfect or anything, but Apple really did such a good job with these phones. And I still think for a lot of people out there, they're still completely worth buying. So if you're going to pick up one, you can't really go wrong with either one. If you want the bigger size phone, then clearly go for the iPhone 13 Pro Max. But I do think still you can't really go wrong with either one of these types of phones when it comes down to it. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.